Hi there. Welcome back to English Simplified channel. I'm certain that you often find verb 3 in the beginning of a sentence, both in spoken and written language. Pay attention to this sentence. Baked in the oven, the cookies smelled delicious. What is the meaning of this sentence? And why does this sentence start with the verb 3, baked? Alright, to make sure you understand this topic clearly, let's answer these questions. 1. What is a passive participle phrase? 2. Why or when do we use passive participle phrases? 3. What is the meaning of a sentence using a passive participle phrase? 4. As usual, in the end, we will make a summary. Let's start by answering question number 1. What is a passive participle phrase? Definition and explanation. A passive participle phrase is a type of participle phrase that includes a past participle and is used to modify a noun or pronoun in a sentence. A passive participle phrase is formed by verb 3 plus modifiers and complements, such as adverbs, prepositional phrases, or other words to complete the meaning of the sentence. As in the sentence, baked in the oven, the cookies smelled delicious. In this sentence, baked is verb 3 and in the oven is a prepositional phrase, uses of passive participle phrases. Well, let's continue answering question number 2. Why or when do we use passive participle phrases? Using passive participle phrases in writing can enhance clarity, conciseness, and variety. Here are several reasons why writers or speakers might choose to use passive participle phrases. 1. Adding descriptive detail. Passive participle phrases can provide additional information about a noun without creating a separate sentence, making writing more descriptive and informative. Example: the book, written by a renowned author, quickly became a bestseller. Here, written by a renowned author gives extra information about the book. 2. Combining sentences for conciseness. They help combine information from multiple sentences into one, making the text more concise and avoiding redundancy. Example: separate sentences. The bridge was built in the 19th century. It still stands strong. Simply, this sentence can be rewritten or combined by using a passive participle phrase, and it becomes, built in the 19th century, the bridge still stands strong. 3. Emphasizing different parts of a sentence. Depending on their placement, passive participle phrases can emphasize different aspects of a sentence, aiding in varying sentence structure and focus. It can be placed at the beginning, middle, or end of a sentence. Examples: beginning. Damaged by the storm, the car needed extensive repairs. Middle. The car, damaged by the storm, needed extensive repairs. End. The car needed extensive repairs, damaged by the storm. Meaning of the sentence with passive participle phrase. Alright, this is question number 3. What is the meaning of a sentence using a passive participle phrase? Sentences with passive participle phrases can often be rewritten into other forms while retaining similar meanings. They can be rewritten using relative clauses and causal conjunctions. Let's rewrite these sentences. Built in the 19th century, the bridge still stands strong. By using relative clauses, this sentence can be rewritten as, the bridge, which was built in the 19th century, still stands strong. And by using causal conjunctions, this sentence can also be rewritten as, the bridge still stands strong because it was built in the 19th century. Or, because it was built in the 19th century, the bridge still stands strong. Here are some more examples. Sentence using a passive participle phrase, painted by a famous artist, the portrait was worth a fortune. Using relative clauses, the portrait, which was painted by a famous artist, was worth a fortune. Using causal conjunctions, the portrait was worth a fortune because it was painted by a famous artist. Or, because it was painted by a famous artist, the portrait was worth a fortune. Sentence using a passive participle phrase. Forgotten in the attic, the old toys gathered dust. Using relative clauses. The old toys, which were forgotten in the attic, gathered dust. using causal conjunctions. So the old toys gathered dust because they were forgotten in the attic. Or, because they were forgotten in the attic, the old toys gathered dust. So what do you think about this sentence? Can you rewrite it using a relative clause and a causal conjunction? Damaged by the storm, the car needed extensive repairs. You are right. If we rewrite it using a relative clause, it becomes, the car, which was damaged by the storm, needed extensive repairs. And if we rewrite it using a causal conjunction, it becomes, the car needed extensive repairs because it was damaged by the storm. Or, because it was damaged by the storm, the car needed extensive repairs. Summary and tips for using passive participle phrases. Finally, this is number 4. Summary and tips for using passive participle phrases. 1. Definition. A passive participle phrase is a descriptive phrase that begins with a past participle, or verb 3, and provides additional information about a noun. It often indicates that the noun is the recipient of an action. 2. Structure. Passive participle phrases are formed by verb 3 plus modifiers and complements. These can include adverbs, prepositional phrases, or other words that complete the meaning of the participle. 3. Placements. Passive participle phrases can be placed at the beginning of the sentence. Example, baked in the oven, the cookies smelled delicious. Middle of the sentence. Example, the cookies, baked in the oven, smelled delicious. End of the sentence. Example, the cookies smelled delicious, baked in the oven. For meaning. To find or understand the meaning when a sentence uses a passive participle phrase, it can be rewritten using a relative clause or a causal conjunction. Example, sentence using passive participle phrase, inspired by true events, the movie was very popular. Sentence using relative clause, the movie, which was inspired by true events, was very popular. Sentence using causal conjunction, the movie was very popular because it was inspired by true events. Or, because it was inspired by true events, the movie was very popular. Hopefully, our discussion is beneficial for you. That's all for now. See you.